All right. We are picking up at page 147, and it's about line 90. This is where the entrapment theme comes in. Over and over again, Odysseus is entrapped on these different places. So, 9 days of drifting is where we're picking up. 9 days I drifted on the teeming sea before dangerous high winds. Upon the 10th, we came to the coastline of the Lotus Eaters. If you've seen any of the Percy Jackson movies, you know the Lotus Eaters are basically using drugs and are in this perpetual state of happiness and never want to do anything. And so Odysseus's men don't want to leave, and they could have stayed there forever, lost in oblivion. Upon the 10th, we came to the coastline of the Lotus Eaters who live upon that flower. We landed there to take on water. All ships' companies mustered alongside for the midday meal. Then I sent 2 picked men and a runner to learn what race of men that land sustained. They fell in soon enough with Lotus Eaters, who showed no will to do us harm, only offering the sweet lotus to our friends. Okay, so you know how we talked about flaws? Odysseus's flaw here is that he is too curious. Who lives here? And then he gets into trouble. All right, this time I'll do it the quick way. Duplicate slide. And okay. Page 148, very top line. But those who ate this honeyed plant, the lotus, never cared to report nor to return. They longed to stay forever. Excuse me. Browsing on that native bloom, forgetful of their homeland. I drove them, all 3 wailing, to the ships, tied them down under their rowing benches, and called the rest. All hands aboard! Come, clear the beach, and no one taste the lotus, or you lose your hope of home. Filing into their places by the rowlocks, my oarsmen dipped their long oars in the surf, and we moved out again to our seafaring. In the next land we found were Cyclopses. So, Cyclopses. Okay, Cyclopses. Big brutes, basically. Giants, louts, without a law to bless them. In ignorance, leaving the fruitage of the earth in mystery to the immortal gods. They neither plow, nor sow by hand, nor till the ground, though grain, wild wheat, and barley grows untended, and wine grapes and clusters ripen in heaven's rain. So basically, these guys are brutes, and they don't do any farming. Cyclopses have no muster and no meeting, no consultation or old tribal ways, but each one dwells in his own mountain cave, dealing out rough justice to wife and child, indifferent to what the others do. So Homer here is painting a picture of the Cyclopses as total cavemen. They basically eat whatever they can get their hands on. They don't grow anything. They don't harvest anything. They don't gather in meetings. They just live in their caves and do whatever they feel like with their wives and their children. And that's the Cyclops life for you. Well then, across the wide bay from the mainland, there lies a desert island, not far out, but still not close inshore. Wild goats in hundreds breed there, and no human being comes upon the isle to startle them. No hunter of all who ever tracked with hounds through forests or had rough going over mountain trails. The isle, unplanted and untilled, a wilderness, pastures goats alone. And this is why good ships like ours, with cheek paint at the bows, are far beyond the Cyclopses. No shipwright toils among them, shaping and building up symmetrical, trim hulls to cross the sea and visit all the seaboard towns as men do, who go and come in commerce over water. This isle, seagoing folk would have annexed it and built their homesteads on it, all good land, fertile for every crop and season, lush, well-watered meads along the shore, vines in profusion, prairie clear for the plow where grain would grow, chin-high by harvest time, and rich subsoil. The island cove is landlocked, so you need no hawsers out astern, bowstones, or mooring. Run in and ride there till the day your crews chafe to be under sail, and a fair wind blows. You'll find good water flowing from a cavern through dusky poplars into the upper bay. Here we made harbor. Some god guided us that night, for we could barely see our bows in the dense fog around us, and no moonlight filtered through the overcast. No lookout. Nobody saw the island dead ahead, nor even the great landward rolling billow that took us in. We found ourselves in shallows, keels grazing shore, so furled our sails and disembarked where the low ripples broke. There on the beach we lay and slept till morning. So he knows he's in the land of the Cyclopses, and they get to this goat island, we're going to call it. And there's goats aplenty in the hundreds, and it's great land. And then again, he discusses the Cyclopses and how far behind they are, how they don't make any ships or anything like that. And so Odysseus and his crew end up just stumbling upon this goat island kind of in the fog and darkness, and so they sleep on the beach. So page 149, dawn again. It's about line 165. When dawn spread out her fingertips of rose, we turned out marveling to tour the isle, while Zeus's shy nymph daughters flushed wild goats down from the heights, a breakfast for my men. We ran to fetch our hunting bows and long shank lances from the ships, and in 3 companies we took our shots. Heaven gave us game aplenty. For every one of 12 ships in my squadron, 9 goats fell to be shared. My lot was 10. He's always got to be a little better. So there all day until the sun went down, we made our feast on meat galore and wine from the ship, for our supply held out. So many jars were filled at Ismaros from stores of the Cicones that we plundered. We gazed, too, at Cyclops' land so near. We saw their smoke, heard bleating from their flocks. But after sundown, in the gathering dusk, we slept again above the wash of ripples. When the young dawn with fingertips of rose came in the east, I called my men together and made a speech to them. Old shipmates, friends, the rest of you stand by. I'll make the crossing in my own ship with my own company and find out what the mainland natives are, for they may be wild savages and lawless, or hospitable and God-fearing men. Here he goes again. Oh, curious. Who lives here? What are they like? Because they are on this goat island and they see the smoke coming from where the Cyclopses are. At this, I went aboard and gave the word to cast off by the stern. My oarsmen followed, filing in to their benches by the rowlocks, and all in line dipped oars in the gray sea. As we rowed on and neared to the mainland, at one end of the bay we saw a cavern, yawning above the water, screened with laurel, and many rams and goats about the place, inside a sheepfold made from slabs of stone, earth fast between tall trunks of pine and rugged, towering oak trees. So he sees a Cyclops cave. A prodigious man slept in this cave alone and took his flocks to graze a field remote from all companions, knowing none but savage ways. A brute, so huge he seemed no man at all of those who eat good wheaten bread, but he seemed rather a shaggy mountain reared in solitude. We beached there, and I told the crew to stand by and keep watch over the ship. As for myself, I took my 12 best fighters and went ahead. I had a goatskin full of that sweet liqueur that Euanthes' son Maron had given me. He kept Apollo's holy grove at Ismaros. For kindness we showed him there, and showed his wife and child. He gave me 7 shining golden talents, perfectly formed, a solid silver wine bowl, and then this liqueur, 12 two-handled jars of brandy, pure and fiery. Okay, so Odysseus takes 12 of his men, his best ones, and this special sweet liqueur. And this is a special one from Apollo's grove. Not a slave in Maron's household knew this drink. Only he, his wife, and the storeroom mistress knew. And they would put 1 cupful ruby-colored honey smooth in 20 more of water. But still the sweet scent hovered like a fume over the wine bowl. No man turned away when cups of this came round. So it's really, really good stuff. And you can't really dilute it. It's so good. That's what Odysseus